All right. So obviously I'm in a different location here. I wasn't originally going to record this, but I'm basically just doing a programming sprint right now. So it's going to be a week of intense programming and, well, I guess not really a week as long as it takes to make some money here. But it's going to be a really cool project. This is why I moved my desk in here because Um, you guys should not sleep on pair programming. Um, Pair programming is when have you basically work with someone and you work on the same computer and man, this light's blinking. You work on the same computer and the idea is that you have two pairs of eyes, four eyes on the same code. And a lot of times when you're programming, some you'll it's late, so I don't want to be too loud. But uh, when you have more, sometimes we'll get stuck when you're programming, right? That's very normal. You're like going away, and then you're like, oh, what do I do now? When you have someone else who's looking at it, maybe they didn't lose the train of thought like you did, so they'll be like, oh, just continue this way. Also, I mean, it helps for debugging, obviously. It even helps uh to even like prevent bugs in the first place because, you know, maybe you'll write some stupid code and then, someone will be like, "Hey, that looks off." So, pair programming is very important. Um, it allows you to basically go absolutely sicko mode because just I feel like pair programming is like it's better than two brains. It's like it's not just like double the brain power. It technically is, but it's like basically quadruple the brain power. Um, in my experience, you also get a lot more bullish with the kinds of projects you can tackle. The more people are looking at the code. And it just allows you to tackle larger projects and bigger scopes. I'm gonna turn this light off. All right. Um, what we're at 3 minutes. So yeah, it just lets you tackle bigger projects. Um, so this is why I'm set up downstairs, not in my room. Usually I work in my room um, because it eliminates distractions. It eliminates people walking in and out of a certain space. It, um, I don't know, sometimes I just work better alone, but of course that's not practical for a week of pair programming. So that's why I'm here now, in the communal workspace. So, um, pair programming is very important. What else is there to say about pair programming? Well, what is there to say about anything in general? Um, Tools, tooling. Well, I guess we can talk about like esoteric programming stuff because that is kind of the realm that I do good in because I essentially like the saying that you're an average of the five people you spend the most time with. Um, One of my friend who originally got me into programming um just does like super like esoteric programming stuff, but these concepts that are super powerful in these like old esoteric languages, for some reason, modern day like website, not website, what am I talking about here? Modern day software kind of uses like stupid languages and like everything's like way more complicated than it should be, and it it just makes everything harder. And of course you have to take a step back when you learn like esoteric shit. You have to get familiar with like, different concepts. But and another, so that's one downside, is that you have to get familiar with unfamiliar concepts, and they're also not hireable skills. Like no one's going to hire you to write like Lisp variants or small talk, or I don't know, if you use Emacs, like that's not a hireable skill. Um, but if you have these hireable skills, then you kind of just look the same as everyone else. And there's this interesting theory that my friends and I formed about why software nowadays is written in like weird, not weird, I mean, I guess they're like normal languages, but like, why is software so complicated now? And like, why does everything suck? Um, and I mean, this is like completely speculation, but you know, let's say that like, okay, it's like the 1990s or like the 2000s, and there's like, stuff coming out. I'm not a big programmer historian, but you know, like, why is architecture and like why is everything so weird? It could be because senior people working at these companies wanted better job security. So they made everything very complicated. And then when all the new guys come in, they need this old guy to like explain how stuff works, right? And then like everything is like extremely poorly documented. It's a bunch of stuff behind like patents. It's all, closed source, all this kind of stuff. And basically this like grows, right? Because like, what if now, a new guy learned all the archaic knowledge of, whatever this code base is, and um, then 10 years later, they're like very good and they understand it. Um, now they want to have job security too. So that's one reason. But anyways, that's complete speculation. I never had a real programming job before, so I don't know how companies run and operate. Um, what I do know though is that they're pretty big, and I don't know if they need to be that big. Not to like, oh, I guess at some point I'm gonna start giving like opinions that people might not agree with, because that's just the nature of talking on the internet. Is you say what you think, and then uh you know people disagree with you, which is good. I think if you listen to any person who just like talks in front of a camera on YouTube, if you agree with 100% of everything that they're saying, there's something wrong with you, because that's impossible. You shouldn't be able to agree with everything someone says. But anyways, what I was gonna say before I went on that tangent is that, when Elon Musk cut a lot of people working at Twitter, it might have been because it was like overly complicated. They didn't need that many people. You guys might have seen videos about about adult daycare, um, where like college graduates will attend, will like go to these internships, and they like wake up at 9, they walk up the steps and they're greeted, and then they get these little towels, and they like warm their hands with these like warm towels to like wash them, and then they'll sit down and then chat for 20 minutes over with having coffee with your coworkers, and then you'll sit down at your desk and check, emails that are like sent needlessly, and like respond to stupid questions. And then, um, you know, then I don't know, maybe you go on your phone for like an hour. And then, and like, I guess this is real because someone like literally videotaped themselves doing this, but then they go play ping pong. They're playing ping pong at work, right? And that's like before lunch. So that's like part of the break. And then you eat lunch, and then I don't know, I'm just making stuff up here. Maybe you'll go for a walk. That's like another 30 minutes. And then, I mean, whatever. The whole point is that the adult daycare is like, I mean, it's literally adult daycare. It's in the name. Um, but yeah, they'll get like maybe 2 hours of work done a day. Um, all while being paid like probably a pretty high salary, right? If you're working at like a big company like that. Um, there's also an article I read. Oh, it's 10 minutes. All right, I'll just wrap up. There's an article I read about a guy who I think he like had just quit Google, but he wrote an article that was like how I made $600,000 a year doing nothing, and he literally went like his step by step, you know, methodological. I don't know if that's a word. He went through his process about how he actually, kept his position, looked like he was working, did a bunch of stuff, and got paid a large sum of money. I mean, obviously the guy's pretty smart. Um, I respect that kind of, uh, I don't know. I just like respect anyone who's like that devoted to like not working. Like, obviously that's bad. I'd have that dude fired immediately. But, I respect people who like game the system. That's like fun. Um, so that's like another example of like people who get cut off from companies. Um, all right, I need to wrap up my points. So I was talking about that because I was talking about esoteric programmer knowledge and how those are not hireable skills, but it might make you better than a lot of the job market. I guess it doesn't make you better at being an employee, but it makes you better at starting your own business or something, or like building your own custom tools. Like, I don't know, like it's just like I feel like it's like a different lane. You're just in a different lane. Um, and of course, finding ways to monetize that isn't obvious, but it's pretty cool in my opinion. Um, yeah, that's what I have to say because this whole entire project's like some esoteric shit, but it should be fucking lit when it's done. All right, peace.